As we're talking right now, I see Senator Tim Kaine. He is a Democrat. He is heavily involved in the tariff file. You guys tell me if we can't have him, but we're going to bring him, if we don't have time, he is going to come on over to our live position. Our wonderful producer, Sylvia, who is the most wonderful producer ever. Come on, Senator, we're live right now, so come on in. My wonderful cameraman. Thanks, lovely to meet you. You've done our program a number of times because you're heavily involved in what's going on with tariffs in Canada.
Right.
We saw the decision from the Supreme Court.
Thank goodness they got it right.
Well, I was going to say, how does that change life for business owners in your state? You represent the state of Virginia, and sort of your fight to bring an end to these tariffs.
My businesses, my families, they hated these tariffs. They view them as a tax imposed by one guy on a bad basis against an ally. We have no greater ally or trade partner than Canada. So the Supreme Court ruling was great news. I have successfully got the Senate to pass rebuttals of President Trump on Canada tariffs. The House hadn't yet done it, but the Supreme Court makes it plain. Now the president should take the message and end the tax. Instead, he's saying he's going to impose uniform taxes on everybody. We're going to try to challenge that too. But the good news is the Supreme Court stood up for the rule of law, stood against the ability of this president or any president to just unilaterally put this kind of tax on commerce.
It is our understanding, based on what President Trump has said and based on what we've heard from Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is that while this 10% or 15% tariff that's in place right now for 150 days, in that time, the Trump administration is looking to do examinations, to consider other areas for tariffs. Do you have any insight into what that could be and what that could look like?
I don't really, but the Trump administration is flailing the core of their economic policy, which was bad for the country. It's cost us manufacturing jobs. I mean, look, the Trump policies, fewer jobs, slower growth, raising prices, it's been a bad strategy. They're going to try to come up with another way to do it. We're going to make sure this 10% doesn't get extended past 150 days and try to block other foolishness, particularly with respect to allies like Canada.
Donald Trump's had some very harsh words. Some people take them as a joke directed at Canada. Other people take them as hostility. Over the weekend, after the American men won the gold medal, he posted a video on social media, an AI video, showing him beating up a Canadian hockey player. Yeah. Given all that he said about Canada, what do you make of his rhetoric?
Well, Virginians love Canada. Americans love Canada. Donald Trump is an outlier in this. And look, it's like we elected a third grader to be president. I think the president is showing increasing signs of derangement, and his Canada fixation demonstrates that. But we here in Congress, we're going to be here longer than the president. I'm going to be here past the president's term, and we're going to end up with a president that shows the respect to Canada that it deserves. And the job we have here in Congress is do everything we can to maintain the relationship until President Trump is the next president. I went to Ottawa twice last year to interact with PM Carney and others in the Canadian government to talk about how we've just got to do our best to maintain this relationship until we get past the immaturity of this president.
Last question, I promise. This is a midterm election year. Democrats are facing increased pressure to try and recapture a majority in the House and try to make gains in the Senate. What is it that the Democrats are what message are they going to try to push to the American people to sort of make those gains?
I think it's heavily an economic message, and I think you're going to see my new governor, Abigail Spanberger, delivering the State of the Union response tonight, and she's going to talk about winning in this battleground state, Virginia, on an affordability message. What can we do to bring down costs in housing, energy, healthcare, groceries, other key areas? President Trump campaigned on that and has ignored it. Democrats in Virginia are focusing on it. We're winning elections. We're delivering results. We can do the same thing at the national level. That would be a winning message. And let's have a message of respect and bridge building rather than division. That will be a key difference between the two parties come November.
Oh, and on that, I know that you have to go. One last thing. For Canadians who are watching this moment in American history and watching, the pace of change and sort of the unprecedented things are happening, as someone who's living through this moment as a lawmaker, can you sort of explain to Canadians what that's been like?
It's been very tough, but here's the way I look at it. This is the 250th year celebration of American democracy, and we are testing every check and balance that the framers put in place, knowing that there would be the dangers of an executive trying to overreach. We're testing them all: courts, Congress, states, elections, activism, the press. We're testing all of them. And look, we're suffering some damage, but I believe we're going to come out maybe a little bit sadder but wiser, maybe a little bit bruised, but having revitalized our connection to the democracy and brought in a whole new generation of leaders who are going to help us define what democracy looks like going forward. I deeply believe that, and I believe it because I've seen Virginia progress so dramatically from a backward-looking state that wasn't economically dynamic into a real powerhouse. We've done it by celebrating our immigrant community, celebrating education, and celebrating our connections to allies around the world, especially in trade.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Senator. I'll let you head out on your way. And so, Peter, I essentially just took the first 11 minutes of your program, and I'm sorry about that. To the control room, I'm sorry about that, but lawmakers come by and they know about Canada, so I'm going to ask some questions. So I'll send it back to you.
Katie Simpson, the best, great work, really appreciate it. Katie Simpson on Capitol Hill.